Love can move the world. We've heard that so many times, right? It's a time that begins with you and me. Look around, there's something you can do as the moon in the sky moves the sea. So my talk today is interconnected. I believe that when we can free ourselves from the idea of separation, that then we can have a place for compassion and understanding, and then have the energy and the insight we need to transform ourselves and the world. Did you know that everything is connected naturally? That's just the way it is. There isn't anything we aren't connected to in some way, energetically. The air we breathe oxygenates our blood, which nourishes our organs, which assists us in keeping healthy. And that same breath has a symbiotic relationship with the plants and the trees, which are fed by the elements, earth, air, fire, and water, which in turn feed us. This is our interconnectedness, if that's a word. Interconnectedness, 6 syllables, that's big. With life. And our awareness of our interconnectedness puts us in a position to make a profound change in how we treat ourselves and each other and the planet. I embrace and honor my connection with all of life.
I embrace and honor my connection with all of life.
Let's say that again. I embrace and honor my connection with all of life. I have a story of a goose. Geese. The next time you see geese heading south for the winter, flying in a V formation, you might consider what science has discovered as to why they fly that way. As each bird flaps its wings, it creates an uplift for the bird immediately following. By flying in a V formation, the whole flock adds 71% greater flying range than if each bird flew on its own. People who share a common direction and sense of community can get where they are going more quickly and easily because they're traveling on the thrust of one another. Right? I mean, it's so powerful. Isn't that what we aspire to here?
Yes.
At the Foothill Center. We support each other. So when a goose falls out of formation, it suddenly feels the drag and resistance of trying to go it alone, and quickly gets back into the formation to take advantage of the lifting power of the bird that's in front. So how many of us have fallen away from our practices in this community and realized, I gotta get back in. I need that thrust. Right? Bless our hearts when we drop out. But we know how important it is to get back in that formation. So if we have a sense of a goose, we will stay in formation with those people who are heading the same way we are. That's not what, how does a goose sound? I don't know.
It's pretty close.
Honk, honk, honk. So and the other thing is when the head goose gets tired, it rotates to the back of the wing or takes a vacation. And another goose flies point. It's sensible to take turns doing demanding jobs, whether with people or with geese flying south. Geese honk from behind to encourage those up front to keep up their speed. Honk, honk. What messages do you give when you honk from behind? An irritated honk? Or one of encouragement? Hello, the light turned. Hello. You got this, my friend. You got this. Honk, honk. So we're going to honk to each other today, okay? Okay. Finally, and this is important, when a goose gets sick or is wounded by gunshot and falls out of formation, 2 other geese fall out with that goose and follow it down to help and lend protection. Then they stay with the fallen goose until it's able to fly or until it dies. They stay with it. And only then do they launch out on their own with another formation to catch up back with their own group. That's all I need to say. Goodbye. So it's my intention here at Foothill Center that those of you watching from afar to stay in formation with this community. Take advantage of having the support and the uplift rather than trying to do it on your own. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here. Ernest Holmes, our founder of the Science of Mind, said, "Our highest satisfaction comes from a sense of conscious union with the whole." So that's the goose story. And in the idea of interconnected, I came up with a couple things. One is the internet. Internet keeps us connected. Sometimes not in ways we want it to. So remember the old days? I think most of you would, maybe some of you are too young. We had dial telephones and answering machines. So you were gone all day doing your thing, and you come home and you would pick up your answering, you pick up your messages. What did I miss today? Right? They were just waiting there for you to pick them up. Well, now we live in this World Wide Web, interconnected. Think about that image of a web, and everything is connected. And so now we have advanced technological time in which we have access and contact and connect with everyone 24/7. Sometimes that's good news, sometimes that's not good news, right? Through FaceTime, Skype, WhatsApp, Zoom, blah, 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 all those things. I don't even know what those are. There's apps to order dinner, share a ride, meet a new friend, bank on demand. Think about that. On demand. Do you know you can demand the universe to pay heed to your requests? Think about that, and we'll talk about that later. So it's interesting to notice how these virtual advances like Zoom and Facebook allow us to connect, yet they can foster a sense of isolation. These connections give us the illusion of separation that then imposes a belief that we're disconnected. And I want those of you watching online to feel that you are connected with us, for sure. But do you ever feel disconnected from Source, from your divine self? And although we may feel that's real, it is actually an impossibility. You cannot be disconnected from Source, that energy, that divine you. No matter all the clouds that cover it up. So the beloved Reverend Michael Beckwith said, "Sure, I can think I'm separate. I can have conversations and experiences of separation. However, at the soul level, I am, you are, never separated from the presence of God. Ever. At the soul level. Affirm with me, I am never separate from the presence.
I am never separate from the presence.
Say it again. I am never separate from the presence. Feel that. Plant that seed in your subconscious. Because we have to be strong in our commitment to sense our oneness with this presence. Stay connected to each other no matter what's going on. And interconnection is an inside-out endeavor. Right? That's why we do our spiritual practices. It's up to us to nurture and express our divine oneness and live in that interconnection. But sometimes there's static on the line. Did you ever have static on your line? Or you're leaving a phone message for someone and they get it, they say, I don't know what you said, it was all gobbledygook. We all can get static on the line. Not you, not here, not now, I know. You don't have that. So interconnection is defined as having internal connections between parts or elements of the whole. Catch that. Having internal connection between the parts, internal or inner. And this speaks to the truth that no matter where we are, we remain connected both physically and energetically to Source. Have you ever heard, wherever you go, there you are? You think you can get away from someone or something and move to a different city? You're taking yourself with you. So unless you change your consciousness, you're going to experience the same thing. Also, wherever you go, there is God also. There is the divine. There's the Creator. If indeed we are one with everything and everybody, then our choices, hear this, our choices don't just affect us. They affect everything in our conscious awareness. So when we are aware of our oneness and connectivity, that will inform how we think and act towards others. Yes?
Yes.
So Ernest Holmes says, there is but one presence in the universe. Since it is in and through everything, it must be in and through you. This presence manifests itself in and through all forms, all people, all conditions. This presence is life itself with a capital L. You know, I was thinking about when we were gone, you can go outside, well, anywhere, like even when we're home, go outside and you look at the moon, this beautiful moon. A couple weeks ago, it was this crescent moon with that planet right near it. Everyone on this planet is looking at the same moon. There's only one moon. Everyone, no matter where they are, they're seeing that moon or that sun. There's only one moon, right? I'm always just like in awe of that when I think about that. Wow, my friend that lives in Norway is looking at that moon too. Maybe not at the same time, of course. That's how connected we are. So another idea is something that was popularized by the Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh, which many of you are familiar with his writings. And he calls it interbeing, B-E-I-N-G. And interbeing, he says, is the idea that all things in the universe are interconnected, with each entity existing only because of the existence of others. Our actions and our existence are inextricably linked to everything else in the cosmos. We are, he says, with one another in all of life. The whole planet is one giant, living, breathing cell with all parts linked in symbiosis. He says, when we free ourselves from the idea of separateness, we then have compassion, we have understanding, and we have the energy to help others. In Buddhism, it's taught that action has three aspects: thinking, speaking, and action. So when we produce a thought, and this will sound very similar to Science of Minders, when we produce a thought, it is energy, it is action. And it can change us and change the world in a good way or a bad way. If it's the right kind of thinking, it will have a healing, nourishing effect on our bodies and our environment. Right thinking can make the world a better place to live. Speaking can have the effect of releasing tension, reconciling conflict, or bringing hope. Speaking is also a kind of energy or a force. And then physical action is necessary, or is an energy that brings healing to ourselves and the world. We can do something that has power of protecting, saving, or supporting, and bringing relief. Every thought we produce, this is Thich Nhat Hanh, every thought we produce, every word we pronounce, everything we do changes our mind, body, and environment. The environment in which we find ourselves is us, and it is the result of our action. You have to be responsible for both your own body and mind and environment. Your environment is you. With mindfulness, compassion, and understanding, you can assure a better future for yourself and for the world. Take a breath. Because I know we can argue with, well, I can be interconnected to everything, but I don't like that. You don't have to like everything. Just to understand you're connected in some way, energetically. And once we embrace this idea, we can begin looking at ways in which we believe that we aren't enough. Have you ever had that thought? I'm not enough, or I don't have enough, or there isn't enough. Embracing our divine enoughness, is that a word? Allows us to live in contentment and knowing that we're always sourced and supplied by that universal cosmic oneness, the God of our understanding. And if we do the work, it will cause us to rub up against our own biases and beliefs that keep us separate and from contentment and cause static on our line. We want to clear up that line of static. At least I do. Do you want to?
Yes.
I embrace my divine enoughness.
I embrace my divine enoughness.
Again, I embrace my divine enoughness. Ernest says we should daily train our thought to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, or think. A constant realization of the presence of spirit will provide a sense of divine companionship that no other attitude could produce. Why should we not take the highest and the best? God is, and we should realize this truth and make use of it. So here's something you can do to prove that when we open our hearts and minds, we are all connected. The next time you're out and about, maybe at the store, think of someone who makes you smile. And then take that smile and share it with the next person you see in line. Often they will respond with a smile back. Now be aware of how their return smile made you feel. This all started with you thinking of someone who made you smile. Did you get that? Mm-hmm. We've talked a lot here about smiling and how important that is. Because it's an energetic giving and receiving. And yes, we are all one with life, and life is one with us. We are indeed interconnected. So your assignment, should you choose to accept it, is to integrate mindfulness this week into your daily routines. Start maybe with 5 minutes of focused breathing. What we did today, breathing in, I know I'm alive. Breathing out, I smile to the world. And maybe also do it later in the day. Take what I call a breath break. I'm also going to invite you to, sometime during the week, is to just be, without distractions. No phone, no internet, no music, no television, no TikTok, no YouTube. Just get off the devices and notice the world around you. Take a walk in silence without your phone. And smile and feel that blessing of what nature is giving you and your interconnection with it. You know, one thing I did in Maui was I was in the water every day. Rex and I were in snorkeling or just swimming, and one day I just floated. I just went out a little ways and I just floated, and my ears were in the water and I could hear the whales. I could hear that, you know, their song. And then I'd get my head out of the water and I'd be like, I wanted to tell everybody, you know, I'm just going back in. And just floating and being still and making that connection is so powerful. Yeah. And then as you recognize your interconnectedness in your interactions, maybe at the grocery store or on a Zoom meeting, stopping at a stoplight, contemplate all the ways you are connected with everyone around you and bless them. Just bless them. You know, I'm always reminded, I've told you this before, when we sneeze, at least in the olden days, when we would sneeze, people would say, bless you. They didn't ask, who did you vote for? How old are you? Where'd you go to school? No. Achoo, bless you, right? So you can say that to everyone that you interact with, whether it's in person or on the boob tube. So remember, as Michael Gott sang, love can move the world. And I believe if we stay in formation, honk honk, we are supporting each other, and we will honk our encouragement to each of us. Are you willing?
Yes.
You willing to honk your horn in a nice way? Let's take that into prayer. How good it is to be together, to be in formation, to recognize in this moment the power of the infinite presence, the infinite energy and vibration of the great spirit, the creator, the universal mind of God, the infinite presence. So many names, yet one, this one energy and power. I'm grateful to know and claim that each of us is a ray of this light, shining in our own unique way. And so my blessing today is knowing that we are each rising in consciousness to a greater good, and that the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, the spiritual body of each of you is open to a new expression, to letting go of the old, letting go of the lesser, and claiming the greater. Claiming the greater and feeling that interconnection, not only with each other, but with that spirit within, that we are always connected to that powerful presence. I'm so grateful to hold and know that truth for each of you. It will serve you well, it will serve us well, to remember our love and support that is always there as we let go and let God. Let go and let love. Let love rule the world. That's my prayer. Let love rule for each of you. And so with joy in my heart, I simply release this word into the law, knowing I planted a seed of good, and we just let it be. We let the law do what it does. And join me in affirming, and so it is. Amen.